What's up, y'all, and welcome into the Jack Vita Show. I'm your host, Jack Vita, back here for another exit interview on Deal or No Deal Island, Season 2. This is Episode 5. The episode is called Trust Fall. We're going to speak today with the latest contestant eliminated, Miss Maria Grace Cook, MG. They call her MG. I call her MG as well. MG is going to talk a little bit about where things with Storm, the showmance, what went wrong in this episode, and why are we speaking with her? Why is she the fifth person eliminated? Before we get into all of that, I would love it if you guys subscribe to the channel. It's here, Jack Vita Show Entertainment here on YouTube. Hit subscribe. Leave us a comment. Would love to know your thoughts on our interview, our conversation today. We'll be back again next week for another exit interview, most likely. And we've also got weekly recaps every single week. Stephanie Mitchell and I, we break down the show, discuss the show, talk about the show. We love Deal or No Deal Island, so make sure you subscribe. You don't miss out on any of that. We're also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever podcasts are found. It is Jack Vita Show Entertainment. That's the name of the feed. So go and hit subscribe. And now, without much further ado, let's get to our conversation with MG. At this time, we are joined by the latest contestant eliminated from Deal or No Deal Island. It is Maria Grace Cook, MG. Thank you for being here today. Welcome to the show. Sorry it's under these circumstances.
Oh, thank you for talking to me. I'm excited to get into it. Talk about it.
Okay, so why am I talking to you today? What happened? What went wrong for you?
Well, from the start, it was probably me saying, David, you take the case. And then me and my confessional going, I think David's not doing good in this game, so I'm going to help him out. Survivor legend. Little did I know.
So that was exactly as it was presented. There wasn't anything else to that we missed?
Well, you did, at the very beginning, he did say when we were getting lifted up on the hammocks, he says, you take the case, like, you need it, I'll be fine. And I've asked him since, and he said he really was offering it to me. And, you know, me just being naive and dumb, I was like, he's a bigger threat for Will than me. So I was like, I can't lose the head of my alliance. I was like, so, no, David, like, you take it, we'll take the highest case, like, you get it, no problem. And of course, he was like, okay, I will. You don't have to ask me twice.
So your closest allies at this point in the game are who?
David and Parvati, probably.
But you're obviously very upset with Dixon, and they're close with him.
Yeah, but I think both of them would have picked me over him, so that's what I kind of always knew in the back of my head. I was like, David and me are really tight. They don't show it, but we are really close, and I was close with Parvati, too. Did not like Dixon being my brother.
Would you have targeted Dixon if you had that power? If you were playing the banker, you could send anybody home. Is Dixon who you're sending home?
If it was the day after that temple,
yes,
probably, just because I would have been so angry still. But if I would have thought about it and been more strategic, I probably would have made a strategic move. But definitely Dixon was on the radar, and he knew it. He knew it. I told him.
Who was the strategic move then? Who would you have maybe? So that's the emotional move. What's the rational move there?
Rationally, probably CK. She's in the middle of two alliances, so she doesn't have, if I took her out, no one would be gunning for me next. If I took someone out that was a heavy hitter in either of the groups, I would have had people like enemies against me.
So you were a part of a showmance. Obviously, you're probably getting a ton of those questions today. I'm not going to ask you the obvious one yet. We'll save that for later. But I'm curious to know, do you feel that led to your demise in the game? Was that a factor or not really?
Not for me. For him, yes, that's definitely why he got eliminated. No shot for anything else. But for me, no, I don't think Dr. Will cared about that. There was a lot of, it showed kind of how it progressed of why, and I think it was because of the family, not because of my, showmance with Storm.
So you said that the showmance did lead to his demise. Was that explained to you? Well, how was that move explained to you after the fact?
It was never explained to me after the fact. I just kind of thought about it and figured it out just by talking to people, and they were like, maybe Dixon has a little thing for you. I don't know. That's still just a thought. I don't know for sure. I just think that.
So you think Dixon was jealous and he liked you and he wanted to win you?
I don't know if it was me. I think he was just jealous of Storm as a person. I mean, Storm had a lot of friends, like was very likable, and Dixon was not likable, and it was just because he wasn't trustworthy. Like people say, he's a weasel. He lied to a lot of us, and he even
Yeah.
admitted to us that he lied.
So you thought that that was not a very good move for his game because he kind of outed himself in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, he told everyone day one behind the scenes that, oh, number one alliance, you're my number one alliance, everyone. And then in Temple, he told everyone that first night, I lied to everyone, and I'm sorry, and I'm going to make it up to you. So from that point on, no one liked him, and everyone liked Storm. So I think that was more the case.
So you and Storm, obviously, people want to know what's the status, boyfriend and girlfriend. You guys got to spend quite a bit of time together when you got off the show.
We did, and we had the best time. I really wouldn't take that back. We had a week full of free drinks, free food. We partied. We took taxi boats. I mean, we were in like beer pong tournaments. He celebrated my birthday with me when I turned 22. I mean, it was amazing. We did end up kind of dating for a little bit. He visited me in LA since I've moved to LA, and then I was going to visit him in Austin. Since then, we've had a lot of conversations. We are just friends.
Okay. What are you doing in LA now?
I actually work for Dr. Will's company.
Whoa. So he's not a garbage person after all.
Okay, Dr. Will in the show, garbage, awful. No, I take that back. I will die saying the man I met on that show is terrible and ruthless and awful. It's a completely different person. Will in real life is completely different. So yes, I stand by the garbage thing for on the show.
So how did this come to fruition? How did you get a job working for him?
It's really crazy, honestly. Like I had talked to him a lot on the show, not strategically because people really hated him. I honestly was his only friend. We spoke a lot, and I told him I was trying to get out of the fire service, maybe make some money. I want to have some life experiences, and he said, "I'll give you a job. I have a really successful company." And I was like, "Okay." I get home from filming, and I get an email like 2 weeks later, and he had put me in an email with some other like executives, and was like, we need to give her a job. Like, she wants to do an interview, blah, blah, blah. She wants to move to LA. Like, get her in the Marina Del Rey location, like, whatever. And I was like, what? Like, this is crazy. Like, there's no way. Like, I'm not going to do this. Here I am.
That's a great story, and it's cool that you guys are, I imagine, pretty good friends at this point.
I mean, we're pretty good friends, but watching the show last night really brought back a lot of emotions. My heart
Okay.
broke. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. What was that experience like watching it all play out, watching yourself on TV?
I was actually really surprised because I knew already what was going to happen, but I didn't know all the people that were gunning for me. Like, it was like when I left, I thought I was blindsided. Like, I thought it was a blindside to everyone. No. Well, a lot of people knew. It was a blindside to me, Dixon, David, and Parvati. Just us. That was really hard.
Were you guys surprised to see how much the other group was gunning for you, or did you guys think that you were in maybe a better spot than that at that point
I
in the game?
knew that the family was such a big threat because obviously you can tell all of the conversations about how much they hated us were in confessionals. We don't see those. So they weren't outwardly walking around being like, I hate y'all. I hate y'all. So I didn't even know it was like a big deal.
Was there anyone that you guys thought was maybe in with your group? Maybe they're not a part of the family, but they were pieces in the chessboard for your alliance, or at least friends, allies, that you were surprised to see, like, oh, actually, they wanted us out.
Um, Not anyone. I would say Lachelle. I don't think she had anything to do with me leaving, but Lachelle was, I would say, was in kind of our alliance on the side, but didn't want to be perceived as part of the family for good reason. She probably knew more than I did. I was very surprised about Seychelle. I wasn't in any alliance strategically with her, but just like talking and just loving her as a person. I was very surprised for her to be like really looking forward to kicking me out.
How much reality TV had you seen before this? Competition shows.
None. I think it shows. I think it really shows I've won. It's very
Well, I like seeing people where this is all fresh to them. I think that's really interesting because I think when you're somebody who hasn't watched a lot of the shows, then you're wrestling a little more with ethics and emotions, whereas some people who are maybe numb to seeing the genre play out, they're like, more of a cold-blooded killer. And I like seeing the emotions. I like seeing the realness and authenticity. We saw that with Luke, the first boot, as well.
yeah, it is kind of weird because I think I wish if I would have watched any reality TV, even not watching David on reality TV, I think I would have just immediately known he knows what he's doing because that man was not phased by anything. And it shows that he's done this before and has done this for a while, but it just never clicked in my head because I had never watched it. So definitely all of my moves I was making were really like hard hitting. Like I felt bad about it, which obviously I'm not on the show anymore. So
Well, you recognize Parvati without seeing a lot of reality TV. How'd you know who she was?
My brother is actually a Survivor fan, like him and his wife. So when I watched the first season, I saw Rob on there. So I was like, okay, I need to figure out who this guy is. And my brother said, now they're probably gonna put Parvati on here. And I was like, who is that? She's like, she's like the boy, like the girl version of Rob. And I was like, okay. So he's like, she's on Traders right now with Sandra, with the other Survivor. So watch Traders a little bit and see. So I watched like a few episodes of Traders, but that was it. So when I saw her in person, I was like, oh, that's the girl from the TV. I never was like, oh, she's super strategic. I need to be weary of her. I was just like, oh, I saw that girl before.
I gotcha. This makes a lot of sense as to kind of how things unfolded the way that they did. You decided to keep it a secret that you knew who she was. You thought your decision that you made at that fork of the road was, I'm going to try to play the game with her. Do you think that would you have done it differently if you played again?
Honestly, the only thing I would have done differently is Dr. Will did approach me to switch alliances, like kind of turn on David and Parvati. And I was so nervous. Like, I'm just new and I didn't want to hurt David's feelings. Like, and like, there was so many emotions. So I wish I would have been like, yeah, you know what? If you take CK out tonight, I'll flip on my alliance. That's what he wanted me to say. And then I didn't say that. And that's why I left. So I wish I had a little bit more of a backbone and wanted to make big moves. But I'm not like Dixon. I'm not here to make the big moves.
Well, you were also the youngest person in the cast, right?
Yeah, I was 21 when filming and then turned
Yeah.
22 on the show. So yeah.
I think you gain a lot. Like I just turned 30 and I look back to when I was 20 and like I definitely have a little more like firm and kind of standing my ground and stuff like that. I think that's something that can be developed a little bit. And, I think it's impressive that you kind of did what you did as the youngest person in the cast. So props to you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think I'm just really compassionate and that's not it shouldn't be in any reality TV game, which I realize compassionate people don't win. You got to be ready to make big moves if you want to win. So,
I actually we'll have to talk about that topic at a later date because I actually think being compassionate can do you very well on these shows. It depends on the show, but I think you
oh,
at the end of the day, yeah, I think it's making friends. But I mean, hey, you're learning a lot here. You learned some stuff from your experience. If you get another opportunity, you'll take what you learned. You'll go out there again. We only got a couple more minutes here. I'm really curious to know if there was anything that wasn't shown that you were surprised did not make it into the show.
yeah, actually, I'm surprised, and I think I know why the reason they didn't show it is before Temple, Phillip, Dr. Will, and I think it was us three. Yeah, we sat and probably talked for 2.5 hours and chatted about life, not even strategically. It was just about life. We purely were laughing. Like I was almost in tears. Dr. Will is laughing. Phillip's laughing. Like we're crying, like laughing so hard. And we just got to know each other like on a personal level. And that's another reason I thought I was safe. So I think it would have showed more of why I was like, oh, I'm so cool because we had such a good time. And Phillip actually texted me and was like, how mad are you that they didn't show the conversation? It was my favorite conversation the whole episode, like the whole season, or whatever. So I think that would have made a little bit more sense if they would have shown that. And then Will saying, you have nothing to worry about. Because I did ask him. I said, are you going to take me out tonight? And he was like, MG, you have nothing to worry about. And then at Temple, even mentions he goes down the line for everybody. They only show CK, but he goes down the line and says why he's not taking out each person until he gets to CK. And for me, he's like, we had a great conversation today. It was awesome. Like, I really love you as a person. Like, it was great, whatever. Moves on, then goes back and says that. So it would have made more.
So you were under the impression he was going to take CK out.
Oh, the whole time. And I looked over at CK, and she played a good game because she was like, I'm leaving tonight. And I was like, oh, really? Oh, no. Like...
So MG, is there anything else that you want to clear the air on, that you want to comment on, that you haven't gotten a chance to talk about yet?
I don't know, not really. Like, I think it was really fun. Just, I guess, if you want to see more of me and Storm, of what we do have from the past stuff, you can follow us on social media. I know he's going on a trip soon, and I have some stuff from the island where we were just partying and having a lot of fun, and then it gets better as I have more stuff for when more people get eliminated. So it's a lot of behind the scenes action, but yeah.
So give us the handles. How can we follow you? What should we? Yeah.
Maria.Grace00, and then TikTok is Maria.Grace000.
She's MG. She just got eliminated on Deal or No Deal Island, but she's got a great sales job thanks to Dr. Will, and she's out there on social media. Give her a follow. MG, thank you so much for your time today. Good luck to you.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was nice talking.
All right. Well, that was a lot of fun. Great speaking with MG. Interesting to hear her insights. Very sweet girl. So we will be back again next week for more content, next week's exit interview. And then we also have our weekly recaps here. Go and check out our week 5 episode recap that'll drop on Thursday of this week, February 6th. And then we'll be back again next week. Stephanie Mitchell and I. Stephanie, of course, finished on 3rd place in season 1 of Deal or No Deal Island. We are going to break down the episode, talk about all of the strategy, all the gameplay, laugh at some of the moments that we found funny. It's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you guys are all subscribed to this channel so that you don't miss out on any of it. You can also subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever it is that audio podcasts are found. We'll be back again next week. And until then, I'm Jack Vita. Bring in the dancing lobsters.